Astoria. This place has captivated us twice now. The city just has a certain powerful aura that's hard to describe. Hi, we're Jake and Emily, the two roaming souls. We find the best things to do in each city and town we visit. For those who follow our channel, you might notice we're not traveling in our camper van. Sadly, our beloved home on wheels needed a new transmission, so for a few days, we got a rental car and a hotel room. Astoria sits at the mouth of the Columbia River, right where the nation's fourth biggest river collides with the mighty Pacific Ocean. As the oldest settlement west of the Rockies, Astoria is steeped with history, from the early Native Americans to the completion of Lewis and Clark's grand expedition to a maritime legacy that's still being written to this day. And with all the famous movies that have been filmed here, it seems that Hollywood agrees that there is just something so powerful about this place. So let's get into the top 10 things to do in Astoria, Oregon.
Astoria Riverfront Trolley. I can't think of a better way to begin your Astoria visit than riding the historic Riverfront Trolley. This narrated trolley ride will introduce you to so many of the things that make Astoria great. It costs $1 to board for a round trip, or just $2 for unlimited rides for a day, and it's cash only. Volunteer conductors provide tons of interesting insights into the history, landmarks, buildings, wildlife, and more. It's a great way to be introduced to the town and get around to many things on the list. The trolley car itself has a lengthy and storied history long before its new life in Astoria. It was actually built in St. Louis in 1913, first serving as a streetcar in San Antonio, Texas. After many cycles of relocation and neglect, it eventually found its way all the way to Astoria, where volunteers restored it for yet another new life. The trolley runs daily from noon to 5 p.m., and when cruise ships are docked, they extend the service from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. But rather hilariously, the trolley doesn't run in rain or snow. And if you know anything about Astoria weather, well, you get the idea. Be on the lookout for sea lions hanging around the Bow-Lynn Hotel. Their distinctive barking is a great way to know if they are around. But regardless of whether or not the trolley is running, you can always stroll the Astoria Riverwalk to explore the waterfront. But just be mindful of the trolley if you are on the tracks.
The Astoria Column. This 125-foot tower sits atop the highest hill in town, and the views from up here are spectacular. This historic monument was built in 1926 to commemorate America's settlement of the West. The 525-foot mural carved into the tower tells the history of Astoria. From here, it's easy to appreciate the magnitude of the landscape and envision all the hardships people have endured surviving here. You can climb the dizzying 164 steps to the top of the tower for the best views. But don't worry if you're not up for the climb, because the views from below are plenty impressive too. There's a small gift shop at the bottom where they sell wooden gliders for $1 you can launch from the top of the column. Not very leave no trace of them, but maybe they collect them. And admission to the park is $5 per car.
Bowpicker Fish and Chips. This retired fishing boat is one of the most iconic places to get fish and chips on the Oregon coast. They keep it really simple. The albacore tuna fish and chips is the only thing on the menu. I was initially skeptical that this place is a gimmicky tourist trap, but after trying it, I must say it's perhaps the best fish and chips I've ever had.
That was really good, actually.
Yeah, I think this lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
The breading
is so crispy.
Yeah, breading is it's like airy and good. The fish is pretty moist and flaky. I approve.
The fries on the other side, not my favorite. I really like thin fries.
We don't really like potato-y fries. And yeah, remember, it's cash only, and there's not really seating, so figure out what you want to do around that.
Bring some lawn chairs. Yeah, so give us an extra piece, I think.
Love this place.
Also, due to the unique kitchen arrangement, sometimes they have to close because of wind or rain. So it's not going to be the perfect restaurant for every occasion or type of party.
Film history in Astoria. Another one of Astoria's claims to fame is that the Goonies was filmed here. Mikey and Bran's house from the movie still sits on the same hill above town. And the jailhouse from the opening scene of the movie now serves as a film museum, with the Jeep from the movie parked right out front. While the Goonies is definitely the most well-known, other popular films like Free Willy and Kindergarten Cop were also filmed in Astoria. The film museum is only $6 per person and is a great thing for movie buffs to explore. If you want to see the Goonies' house, keep in mind that it's a privately owned home in a residential neighborhood. So if you could care less, I would skip this one. The current owners have kept the house accurate to the movie set and are nice enough to tolerate a high volume of visitors. Since it's at the top of a dead-end street, they ask that you park down the hill and visit only on foot. Be respectful of the neighborhood.
Visit Pier 39. Not to be confused with Pier 39 in San Francisco, though you can often spot sea lions here too. Astoria's Pier 39 is the oldest standing fish cannery dock on the Columbia River. Canning salmon was one of the biggest industries in Astoria. The row of abandoned pylons are evidence of a time when Astoria's entire shore was lined with bustling over-the-water industries. Pier 39 has been preserved to commemorate that legacy. The dock has a free museum with small exhibits about the cannery and its workers. And Coffee Girl is a great place to enjoy your coffee or breakfast with a view. And there's also a seafood restaurant, Rogue Brew Pub, and other shops. Pier 39 is the last stop on the trolley, so it's an easy and fun way to get transportation here. Otherwise, driving out on the wooden pier is unique. But be aware that parking is limited on the pier itself.
Brewery Tour. Astoria has an awesome collection of local breweries to visit. It's easy to find some unique and delicious beers, plus food too. The Fort George Brewery is our favorite. This big brewery occupies an entire historic city block and recently expanded some operations to the waterfront as well. Enjoy a pint at the downstairs pub, the upstairs wood-fired pizza spot, or in the Lavelle tap room close to where the magic happens. Our favorite spot at the brewery is the second floor. Enjoy great views in this open space or from the rooftop patio. And the wood-fired pizza here is so good. Like, I would come here just for the pizza. Bowie Beer Company is the other massive brewery in town. They've been very successful selling their beers across Oregon and Washington, and they specialize in lighter styles of beer. Their waterfront brewery recently suffered some near catastrophic damage. So during our most recent visit, they were temporarily serving beer inside the Astoria Food Hub. But they've announced plans to open a new brewery soon on the south side of town. Astoria Brewing Company has an awesome waterfront location. They have a great patio facing the river, and inside is mostly long beer hall style tables. Be aware that they have eliminated tipping, instead choosing to just pay employees a living wage, so don't be shocked by the higher prices on the menu. We didn't try the food here, so we can't comment on that, but we just ordered the Jake and Emily Special, 2 hazy IPAs, and we loved them so much that we had them can up a crowler to go. Breakside Brewery. This brewery hails from nearby Portland, Oregon, recently opening up this location in Astoria. We didn't try the food, but the beers we had were delicious, and we enjoyed the sunset out their open-air garage doors. Rogue Public House. This is another successful Oregon brewery that started farther down the coast in Newport, Oregon. Check out our last video if you want to see that.
Columbia River Maritime Museum. Astoria has one of the nation's best maritime museums, and for good reason. The Columbia River has been critical to trade and navigation for decades. From the time the Lewis and Clark expedition successfully navigated to the Pacific Ocean, to the present day where billions of dollars of trade pass through here annually. The Columbia River Bar is notoriously one of the most dangerous bar crossings in the world. It has earned the nickname the Graveyard of the Pacific. The mighty river clashes with the wind and waves of the Pacific Ocean, creating wild and unpredictable conditions. Even today, with all our advanced shipbuilding and modern technology, all ships engaging in foreign trade are required to employ a dedicated bar pilot. These specially trained navigators assist around 3,000 ships per year crossing the bar.
This is a great rainy day activity in Astoria.
The museum has many exhibits to explore, from fishing history to one of the hardest working coast guards to shipwreck recovery and more.
There you go.
If there's any downside to this museum, it's that you can almost get burnt out from too much reading. But they also have a 3D movie theater you can check out. Outside the museum, you can tour the Columbia Lightship. This retired vessel operated as basically a floating lighthouse at the mouth of the Columbia River. It's a unique bit of preserved history, and it's cool to imagine what it was like for sailors stationed aboard this boat, enduring day after day of the Pacific Ocean abuse. And try to catch a free tour of the engine room if they are offering them.
Young's River Falls. This is one of the best spots for nature lovers near Astoria. This short 0.3-mile hike brings you down to a massive 54-foot waterfall. This powerful falls blankets the area with mist. And just downstream from the falls, there's a small beach that's a good place to sunbathe and swim in the summer.
Learn about history at a local park. Fort Stevens State Park is a great nearby place to visit for history and nature. It's the site of the Peter Iredale Shipwreck, one of the thousands of ships that have crashed or sunk at the mouth of the Columbia River. But unlike most others, this shipwreck remains easily accessible in its final resting place. All that's visible now is a skeletal steel frame from the bow of the ship. The namesake of this park, Fort Stevens, is a historic military fort built for its strategic location. It was constructed during the American Civil War, oddly enough to protect against a British invasion from Canada should they decide to side with the Confederates. But the fort wasn't actually completed until after the war. During World War II, this strategic location was bolstered again with many more buildings, artillery, and bunkers.
A TV mount. Nice.
But even if you could care less about history, Fort Stevens State Park has plenty of other things to do. There's hiking trails, lakes, camping, driving on the beach, and even herds of elk roaming the area.
Another unique park in the area is the Lewis and Clark National Historic Park. The entire purpose of Lewis and Clark's expedition was to chart a path to the Pacific Ocean. With their arrival to the area, they had finally achieved their lofty goal. This park occupies the site where they made camp for the winter before heading back to report their findings. The park has some exhibits about Lewis and Clark, easy hiking trails, and a replica of the fort they built, which, admittedly, as a replica, wasn't really doing it for us. The park also highlights Sacagawea, who, as a translator and interpreter, was essential for helping the expedition connect with native tribes along the way, including the local Clatsop and Chinook tribes of the Northwest.
Walk around Astoria's neighborhoods. If you're looking for a great free activity in Astoria, we always enjoy simply wandering around the town. Even to the casual observer, you'll find yourself admiring the layers of colorful houses, all with unique and varied architecture. And the hilly streets make for a good workout, providing great views of the area.
Here are a couple honorable mentions you might try to fit into your visit. Surf to Soul. We passed by these food trucks several times, and once we saw what this one was cooking up, we knew we had to give it a try. Look at this, is like a sandwich. It's a Belgian waffle chicken sandwich. Look at that. This is insane. Underground Ghost Tour. This tour is highly rated, but we skipped it because we're really not into spooky stuff. Drive the Astoria-Megler Bridge. This Astoria icon spans over 4 miles across the Columbia River, connecting the states of Oregon and Washington. Favel House Museum. This Queen Anne-style Victorian mansion was built in 1885. It has been turned into a museum offering self-guided tours of the interior and the gardens. Thanks for coming along on another Two Roaming Souls adventure. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, and check out our website for even more information about Astoria. Subscribe to our channel for more travel and adventure content, and we'll see you next time.